Welcome to my channel. HD Rare Coins 111. In this video I tell you about the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny, which are most valuable and rare. If you interested, please subscribe my channel. Thanks. Top 1. The year 1944 was a pivotal moment in American history. World War II had entered its final stages, and the United States was still deep into the conflict. Yet, amidst the global turmoil, something fascinating was taking place back home in the United States Mint. A small, unassuming coin was being produced, one that would later capture the hearts of collectors and historians alike: the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny. This coin, often overlooked in circulation, would go on to gain legendary status. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the history, design, and legacy of the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny. We'll explore how this seemingly ordinary piece of currency became a collector's dream, and most excitingly, we'll uncover the jaw-dropping value that a single 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny can command today. Let's get started. Let's rewind to the early 1900s. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, first introduced in 1909, was the United States Mint's way of honoring the nation's 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. The design, which featured a bust of Lincoln on the obverse and 2 ears of wheat on the reverse, was a symbol of America's agricultural roots and its reverence for the man who had guided the country through the Civil War. For decades, this design remained a staple of U.S. currency, but it's 1944 that stands out for coin collectors, particularly due to the unique circumstances of the time. At the height of World War II, copper was in high demand for the war effort. The U.S. government was using the metal for ammunition and other essential wartime materials. This led to a temporary change in the materials used for minting pennies. In 1943, a special issue of the penny was struck using steel and zinc due to the copper shortage. But by 1944, copper became available again. This led to a return to the traditional copper composition. However, it wasn't just the material change that made 1944 pennies notable. It was the specific way the coins were struck at the U.S. Mint that would make them stand out for generations. The U.S. Mint facilities that year produced 1944 Lincoln Wheat pennies across 3 major mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each of these mints used different marks to distinguish where the coin was produced, which meant that each mint's version of the penny could be identified by a simple mint mark placed on the obverse side of the coin. The Philadelphia Mint, which was the largest producer, did not place a mint mark, while Denver used the letter D and San Francisco used the letter S. These mint marks would play a significant role in the value and rarity of the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny today. But here's the catch: it's not just any 1944 penny that can fetch big bucks. The coins from certain mints are rarer than others, and some have unique characteristics that make them stand out in the world of numismatics. But before we dive into that, let's take a closer look at the design of the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny. The obverse of the coin, featuring a right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner. Brenner's design was so widely recognized that the Lincoln portrait remained on the penny for decades. Around the portrait, the coin is inscribed with the words, "Liberty in God We Trust," and the year 1944. On the reverse side, you see the familiar ears of wheat, which give the coin its name. The reverse design, also created by Brenner, showcases 2 stalks of wheat curving inward with the words, "United States of America," above, and "E Pluribus Unum," below. In the center, the coin bears the denomination 1 cent. This simple, yet elegant design would remain a part of American currency until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. But now, we come to the most exciting part of the story: the value of the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny. As we mentioned earlier, this coin wasn't just another penny produced by the U.S. Mint. In fact, certain 1944 pennies have become so rare and sought after that they are now considered some of the most valuable coins in American history. So, what makes a 1944 penny worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars? The key to a penny's value lies in its rarity, its condition, and its unique characteristics. Most 1944 pennies, especially those produced in large quantities by the Philadelphia Mint, are relatively common and worth only a few cents to $1 at most, depending on their condition. However, there are a few rare versions of the 1944 penny that have become the stuff of legends in the numismatic world. One of the most famous varieties of the 1944 penny is the 1944 steel penny. That's right, you heard correctly. In a highly unusual and nearly impossible to explain error, a small number of 1944 pennies were struck using leftover steel blanks from the previous year's 1943 steel pennies. These coins, which should never have been minted, became highly prized once they were discovered. A few of these 1944 steel pennies have surfaced in recent decades, and they are among the rarest and most valuable coins ever produced by the U.S. Mint. So, how rare is this error? Well, estimates suggest that only about 20 to 30 1944 steel pennies exist in the entire world, and each one could fetch an extraordinary price. In fact, one such penny was sold for a record-breaking $1.7 million at a 2019 auction. That's right, one penny, worth only a cent when it was originally struck, is now worth millions. But it's not just the era coins that are valuable. Some of the regular 1944 Lincoln Wheat pennies, particularly those in pristine condition, graded as MS 67 or higher, can also fetch impressive amounts. In recent years, a few high-quality 1944 pennies have been sold for several $1,000s each. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its value, with those that are well preserved and free from wear or damage being the most valuable. Of course, the 1944 pennies from the Denver and San Francisco mints are generally rarer than those from Philadelphia, and as such, they are often worth more. The 1944 penny, for example, is particularly sought after by collectors, and if it's in high grade, it can command a premium price. But no matter which mintmark your 1944 penny carries, the coin has likely appreciated in value since it was first struck. Whether it's due to the historical significance, the rarity of specific varieties, or the fact that a 1944 penny represents a piece of a tumultuous era in American history, collectors are eager to own a piece of this past. The Lincoln Wheat penny has become one of the most recognizable coins in American numismatic history, and the 1944 variety stands out as one of the most fascinating. Now, we come to the big reveal. Are you ready to know how much your 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny could be worth today? Well, it depends on the exact coin you have. If you have a regular, unremarkable 1944 penny in average condition, you can expect it to be worth around 10 to 50 cents. However, if you have a high-grade 1944 penny from one of the rarer mints or, even better, a 1944 steel penny, you could be sitting on a small fortune. The highest recorded sale for a 1944 steel penny occurred in 2019, when a single coin was sold for an astonishing $1.7 million. For the regular copper pennies, prices can range from a few $100s to upwards of $120,000 depending on their quality and mintmark. That's right, up to $120,000 for a single 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny. Imagine finding one of these rare coins in your pocket change, or inheriting one from a relative who didn't know its worth. So, how can you tell if your 1944 penny is valuable? Start by examining the condition. If the coin is worn or has visible scratches, it's probably worth only a few cents. But if it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, it could be worth thousands. The next step is to check the mintmark. A coin from the San Francisco Mint is rarer than one from Philadelphia, and one from Denver is rarer still. And if you happen to own one of those rare 1944 steel pennies, you could be looking at a small fortune. In conclusion, the 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny is a remarkable coin with a fascinating history. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who stumbled upon one of these coins, it's important to appreciate the legacy and value of this piece of American history. From its unique minting circumstances during World War II to its current standing as one of the most coveted coins in the world, the 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny is a true numismatic treasure. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into the history and value of the 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more fascinating content about rare coins and collectibles. And who knows? Maybe you'll stumble upon a valuable penny of your own. Thanks for watching. Top 2. We dive into the story of one such object, the 1984 Lincoln 1-cent penny. A coin that may look ordinary at first glance, but is far more intriguing than you might imagine. The story of the Lincoln penny begins long before 1984. In fact, it stretches all the way back to the year 1909, when the penny was first issued in honor of President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. The original design, created by Victor David Brenner, featured a profile of the 16th president, and it forever changed the landscape of U.S. coinage. This coin, crafted from copper, quickly became one of the most iconic pieces of American currency. Its design was both simple and profound, symbolizing a nation's reverence for its leader. It wasn't long before this penny became ingrained in the fabric of American life, passed from hand to hand, collected, and cherished. Fast forward to 1984. The nation was in the midst of a booming economy. The 1980s marked a time of change, innovation, and a touch of nostalgia. The iconic Lincoln penny, which had already been in circulation for over 75 years, continued to be a staple of everyday life. But it wasn't just its history that made this coin fascinating. It was what lay beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered. You see, the 1984 penny is often overlooked by the casual observer. After all, it's just another year in the long series of Lincoln cents. But there's something about this particular coin, something that would elude even the most diligent of collectors for many years. A small, almost imperceptible error. A flaw, if you will, that would eventually lead this unassuming penny to become one of the most valuable coins in the modern age. On the surface, everything about this coin seems fine. But in 1984, something unusual happened at the U.S. Mint, something that would lead to a rare, incredibly valuable variation of this otherwise routine penny. A mistake. A mistake so rare, so unique, that those few pennies that were struck in error have become highly sought after by collectors. This, my friends, is the 1984 double-die Lincoln penny. It's an anomaly, a minting error that occurred when the die used to strike the coins was misaligned, causing a visible doubling of the design on the coin's obverse, especially on the word, Liberty, and the date. The result? A breathtaking piece of history, with a distinct and captivating flaw that makes it unlike any other penny. But what makes the 1984 double-die penny so remarkable is not just its visual anomaly, it's the story behind it. How many of these rare pennies exist today? How many were overlooked or simply spent in everyday transactions without a second glance? The answer is that very few were ever noticed for their unique error, and even fewer have been preserved in good condition. For years, these rare pennies languished in obscurity. It wasn't until the 1990s that collectors began to notice the peculiarities of the 1984 penny, sparking a wave of excitement and investigation within the numismatic community. And once the error was confirmed, the hunt was on. But what is the value of a 1984 double-die penny today? A coin that was once discarded as just another penny has now earned its place among the most valuable and desirable coins in the world. As of recent auctions and private sales, the value of a well-preserved 1984 double-die Lincoln penny has skyrocketed. If you happen to stumble upon a 1984 double-die Lincoln penny in your pocket change, you could be holding onto a coin worth upwards of $55,000. Yes, you heard that right, $55,000. It's an incredible price for a coin that once had a value of just 1 cent. But that's the magic of numismatics. A rare error, a little bit of history, and a dash of luck can turn a simple penny into an extraordinary treasure. It's a reminder that sometimes the most valuable things in life aren't the ones that stand out immediately. They're the hidden gems, waiting to be discovered. So, the next time you reach into your pocket and pull out a handful of change, you might want to take a closer look. You never know what treasure you might find. The 1984 Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that started as just another piece of currency, tells a deeper story of history, error, and unexpected fortune. From a moment of manufacturing imperfection to becoming a prized collector's item, this penny has truly earned its place in the annals of numismatic lore. Top 3. The 1992 Lincoln 1-cent penny stands out as a coin that's far more than it appears. It's easy to overlook, considering its role as just another penny in circulation. Yet, for collectors and numismatists, this seemingly simple coin holds a fascinating story that has intrigued enthusiasts for decades. Today, we'll dive into the history, the design, the rare minting anomaly, and of course, the eye-popping value of the 1992 Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny has been part of American life for over a century, its design becoming one of the most enduring symbols of the nation. The first Lincoln cent was issued in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, it featured the profile of Lincoln on the obverse, and the reverse initially showcased a wheat stalk design, which earned the penny its nickname, the wheat penny. The Lincoln cent went through a series of design changes over the years. In 1959, the reverse design was changed from the wheat stalks to the Lincoln Memorial, marking the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This new design was used for several decades, becoming as iconic as the image of the president himself. The obverse, however, remained largely the same, with the image of Lincoln facing left, his features beautifully captured by Brenner's work. Now, let's fast forward to the year 1992, a year when this humble coin took center stage in an unexpected way. The 1992 Lincoln penny, like many coins in its series, was struck using the same design as the previous years. The obverse still depicted the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln, and the reverse continued to showcase the Lincoln Memorial. But behind the scenes, at the U.S. Mint, something unusual occurred, something that would make the 1992 penny a subject of intense interest for collectors. In 1992, a rare minting error occurred that would go unnoticed by most people at first. The U.S. Mint had a problem with one of its dies, which caused a significant, albeit subtle, flaw in some of the coins struck during that year. This error, known as the 1992 close AM penny, refers to the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse of the coin. For most 1992 pennies, the A and M are spaced further apart, which became the standard after the mint began striking coins with a different die design in the early 1990s. But due to this error, a small batch of 1992 pennies was struck with a die that closely resembled the spacing found in previous years, specifically the 1989 to 1991 pennies. As a result, these coins are often referred to as the close AM variety, which makes them unique and highly sought after by collectors. To the untrained eye, this error might be imperceptible. After all, it's just a tiny variation in the spacing between two letters on the reverse of the coin. But for collectors who know what to look for, this subtle anomaly makes all the difference. And it's not just the rare close AM pennies that have captured attention. The standard 1992 penny, while not as valuable as its rare counterparts, still holds its place in the rich tapestry of Lincoln cent history. The 1992 penny, like many of its predecessors, was struck in copper-plated zinc, following the standard composition that had been in use since 1982. This composition meant that the coin was primarily composed of zinc, with only a thin copper plating covering it. The Lincoln Memorial reverse continued to depict the famous structure with the same level of detail that had been part of the design for decades. However, it's the rarity of the close AM variety that has made the 1992 penny such a desirable coin for collectors. While only a small number of these coins were minted with the close spacing, they can be identified by closely inspecting the reverse of the penny. When viewed under magnification, the A and M in America will appear closer together than on a standard 1992 penny, which features the typical, wider spacing. The discovery of the 1992 close AM penny was a game-changer for collectors. At first, these pennies were largely overlooked, with many people unaware of the error. As word spread, however, the numismatic community became increasingly excited by this rare find. It wasn't long before coin collectors began to search through their change, hunting for these elusive, error-struck pennies. Some of the first 1992 close AM pennies to surface were in circulation for years before anyone realized they were valuable. For those lucky enough to find one of these coins, the rewards can be significant. The 1992 close AM penny, especially in uncirculated or near mint condition, has proven to be highly valuable on the collector's market. Depending on its grade, a well-preserved 1992 close AM penny can fetch tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, these coins have been sold for as much as $44,000 at auction, a staggering amount for a coin with a face value of just 1 cent. It's this incredible value that has propelled the 1992 close AM penny into the spotlight. The excitement surrounding the discovery of these rare coins has sparked a renewed interest in Lincoln pennies from all years. Collectors are now scouring coin rolls, looking for any potential errors or rare varieties that might be lurking, waiting to be uncovered. But what makes this coin even more remarkable is the fact that it's not just the error itself that makes it valuable. It's the rarity and the circumstances that led to its creation. The fact that a small batch of pennies was struck with the old die, which had been used in previous years, is a rare and unexpected occurrence. Minting errors like this are relatively uncommon, making them a hot commodity in the world of coin collecting. For collectors who want to maximize their chances of finding one of these valuable coins, it's important to understand the process by which they were minted. The 1992 close AM penny wasn't intentionally struck with this die. It was simply a result of an error in the minting process. That means that only a limited number of these pennies were produced, making them particularly rare and highly sought after. As time goes on, the value of the 1992 close AM penny is likely to increase. Coins like this often become more valuable as they become scarcer and harder to find. In fact, some of the highest quality specimens of this coin may eventually be worth even more than the current record price of $44,000. In the world of numismatics, the 1992 close AM penny has earned its place as one of the most fascinating and valuable coins of the modern era. It serves as a reminder that sometimes the most valuable treasures are the ones that are overlooked by most. A tiny minting error, hidden in plain sight, can transform an ordinary penny into an extraordinary prize. So, if you ever come across a 1992 Lincoln penny, take a moment to examine it closely. It might just be the rare and valuable close AM variety, waiting for you to discover it. You never know, that simple penny might turn out to be worth far more than its face value. In the world of coin collecting, it's the hidden gems that often carry the greatest rewards.